And we're live! Welcome to session 3 of In Eloth's Footsteps. We have with us Louis and Jack at the moment, Tom hopefully at some point, and we are continuing where we left off. But first, we shall do character introductions, starting from left to right. So Jack, if you're there.
Hello, I'm F. Well, that's short for short for Finn, short for Findon, short for Findon, Frostwall Fireforge. Is that the right order?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
And
Yeah.
you are a...
I'm a dwarf. Sorry, be right back. I've just walked into my room.
Okay. Okay, and Louis.
Okay, I am Rael Endon. I am a half-elf female wizard. I grew up, the early part of my life was spent with my mother and my two brothers, and my father, who became ever more estranged because he couldn't get the hang of living with people whose lives would be so short. Eventually we moved to a village, yada yada yada. You're not worried about that. Yes. So yes, I'm the long and the short of it is
Sorry about
I don't entirely get social situations as well as I probably should do. And just at the moment I'm distinctly worried about what's just burst through the gate. And sorry, I'm rambling wildly. As you see her at the moment, she is looking very tired, very worn out. Her hair is almost standing on end from the various spells that have been cast and the mayhem of the last half a day or so.
Cool.
Oh,
And as if on cue, Tom, go ahead and introduce yourself.
my character sheet's all over that. Yeah. Got it. My character is Jamrel Galandra, a human rogue who is on a quest for vengeance against a specific church who branded him as a heretic back in his early days of priesthood.
Ooh. Who would like to do a recap?
I can if you would like me to.
I'd like someone to, and if no one else is going to go for it, then you can, Louis.
Okay. Okay, we arrived in town. I'm going to skip the first session over as quickly as we can. We arrived in town and found ourselves fighting some kind of eyeless zombies who attacked our boat. We managed to fight them off before going to a different part of town and effectively rescuing the town guards who were ill-equipped and undertrained. I am trying to remember, because I have lost my notes, the name of the Titan who we were, who was in charge of the boat that we came in with.
Harren Godsblood.
Harren Godsblood. Yes. So we rescued them on close inspection, shall we say, of the body or of the bodies. We found these disgusting. I was thinking maggot-like things until we bumped into them a second time, when they're slightly larger than I'd initially thought, which seemed to be possessing the bodies of people. So we tracked two of these to a warehouse, We went inside the warehouse and searched to see if we could find them. We had to split up because the warehouse was end of Raiders of the Lost Ark huge. So we split up, and one of the people that we'd met in the warehouse was attacked by the worms, and it took all of our collective might to bring him down, which we did do. We discovered in the meantime that these things, apart from turning people into zombies and making them ridiculously strong, also have the ability to spit acid at you, making them not good to get into. So upon leaving there and heading off with the hopes of getting something to eat and somewhere to rest our weary heads, there was an attack at the gate, and as we got to the gate, a gigantic troll, eyeless and therefore most likely possessed by these godforsaken maggot worm things, broke through the gate, and as we left it, a small bunch of us were left in the square just inside the gates, trying to fight and trying to survive this thing and drive it off.
So you can take a point of initiative for that, Louis. Point of inspiration, not point of initiative.
Am I allowed to stack them in your game?
You are allowed to stack them in my game.
Okay. Woohoo! I know what I'm using one of them for.
I was gonna say, yeah. Right. So next thing to say is roll initiative.
Okay.
Okay.
The whole town guard is here as well. I'll be playing them as one initiative roll.
I've got 6.
Okay.
Plus...
Is that with modifiers, Jack?
No.
I have a 15.
I don't have initiative written down on the sheet, Ollie.
It's your dex modifier.
Hey, 9.
Okay.
Roll 16 with dex.
I'm just going to meet my camera.
19.
Okay, so...
Tom, I've forgotten the name of your character.
Oh, that's not written very well on the toolbox.
Oh, sorry, Amriel?
No,
Gambrel.
Jamril the Spreadable.
Yeah, Galandra is the surname, but I just call him Spreadable.
I can't tell it on my camera for some reason. Hangouts doesn't detect a camera. Well.
Okay, so, if I can have, again, everyone's AC and initiative, and yeah, so, Jack?
My AC is 19, my initiative was... Wait.
9?
Yeah, 9.
Okay. Louis?
AC is 12. I'm trying to remember whether or not I cast Mage Armor. during the
You
last
did.
combat.
I'm not sure if it would have timed out by now. Is it 8 hours?
I can't remember if it's 8 hours or 1 hour. Anyway, so that's 12 or 15 depending. And what was it? It was my armor class and...
Your initiative.
Initiative is a +2. When I said 15, that was including that.
Okay, so... got Louis. Jack. Tom?
My initiative was 19 and my armor class is 14.
Okay.
Yeah, Mage Armor lasts for 8 hours.
Yeah, so you still got that on then.
Yeah. Okay, so my armor class is 15 at the moment.
Okay. Okay, Haven is on a 12. The guards are on a 12. The thing is on a another 12. but it is going to be on an 11. So, okay, starting us off is Jamril. What do you do?
Right, so there's a big thingy that's here.
Indeed, there is.
Troll, right?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Good. Where am I in relation to this thingy?
It's just broken through the gate, so around 20 foot in front of you.
20 feet. Okay. So I'm gonna go towards him and. Oh, actually, I'm not sure whether it's that safe. Is he distracted, or would I be able to perform a cunning action?
He's. What are you thinking?
So, because I get an extra hide, dash, or disengage in combat when they're surprised or something.
Okay. It's just bashed through this gate, so it's a little bit dazed, so I'm going to give you that.
Alright, so I'm gonna. If I have missile weapons. I run up to it, swipe it with my short swords, and I'm not sure if I should disengage or hide. I'm not gonna disengage. I'm gonna take. Is there any cover?
There's like quite a wide opening around the gate, so there's nothing really that you could get back to that quickly.
I guess I'll disengage then.
So you're just like sprinting in, taking a swing, and then backing out again.
Yeah.
Okay, make your attack roll.
We'll clear that.
I'm gonna, as Jamril's charging towards it, I'm gonna yell, "Get behind it! We'll try and distract it."
That sounds like a plan. When I disengage, I'm going to disengage behind it.
Okay, cool.
15-foot attack on one,
That is a hit.
and for the other, 21. So
that's also a hit.
Wow. 8, 2d6, so that's 8 damage for me. I can't remember if I get any special thingies with it or
not. You add your dex.
I thought, was it to both or just one?
It'll be to each, because if you did one attack, you'd add it to that, so yeah.
Okay, 14 then.
Oh yeah, you're flip. Is your dex +5?
3 plus 3.
Oh yeah, it's 8, my bad, I can't count. Cool, yeah. So, what do these strikes on this creature look like?
I'm guessing he's quite a tall
Yeah,
creature.
It's probably twice Vial's height.
Wow. So I run up to it and not blindly, but sort of. It looks kind of blind.
Like hack and slash, kind of.
Yeah. In sort of a sort of scissor movement.
Cool. Yep. Okay, you do so, and you disengage to behind the troll. Next up, Rael.
Okay, so we're about 20 foot from this thing as it stumbled through the gates.
Yep.
I'm in my head. I've got kind of a moderate-sized square just behind the gates with kind of streets leading off in each direction.
Yeah.
Okay, is there an open doorway somewhere within about sort of 20 foot of me that would leave me within kind of 30 foot or so of the creature?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple of shops near the opening which still have open doors.
Okay, I'm going to back behind Finn
Right.
as I scrabble back in my component pouch and pull out this blackened twig. And the twig moves through the air in a motion that I think a couple of you have seen a couple of times. In fact, I think every time I've used this so far, it's
Yeah.
been although it probably in meta terms hasn't been the thing that's killed the most. As in Rael's head, every time she uses this spell, she manages to take the damn thing down. So she moves this through and mutters the incantation to release it, and then standing behind Finn just releases this huge arc of lightning towards it over the top of his head.
Cool.
I have a +6 to spell attack bonus, so that's a 19.
That hits.
Doing 11 points of damage.
Cool.
And as the once it's hit, and I know I've got a hit, I'm going to try and move sideways whilst holding this thing on an arc and try and get into the doorway of one of the shops, so I've got some protection from it. But if possible, keeping Finn between myself and it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, that's fine.
If I can't, I'll just stay behind Finn.
Yeah, no, you can. You know what? Make me a concentration check.
Shield.
Okay, I'm going to use one of my things of initiative to re-roll that.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, my life, that's better. Now, what's concentration check? Is that with my spellcasting?
I think so. That's high enough anyway, though.
Okay.
Yeah. It just because as people have heard this banging, they've kind of fled to the shops, and there's some fruits and things lying around on the floor. So you just gotta focus on keeping a footing while keeping the spell. So.
Okay.
But yeah, no, you do so.
The eldritch incantations are slowly clearing themselves to slightly more colourful and more common terms as she sizes up the height of this damn thing.
Yeah.
And the muscles on it.
Yeah. It does take a small step back as it gets hit with this arc of electricity, but then lets out a loud growl and starts to move forward again. Okay.
Heads up, Finn.
No, it's now Haven. Haven first.
This could be fun.
No, Haven's not going to hit it. Don't be a muppet. Because of the way PDF Reader works, I can only have one open or the other. So I also forget Haven has spells. And he needs to use the spells. Okay. So, Haven is going to unsheath his sword and move into the doorway opposite you, Louis, and do the same thing. And you got a natural 20. Okay. Right. So that hits. That's which spell's 1d12 at first level, isn't it? Cool. Okay. So Rael kind of not Rael. Haven looks over at Rael. Good idea. And he lifts his sword and fires off this second arc, which bursts into the air between him and the troll and slams into its chest as well, doing another 22 points of damage.
Remind me why he bothered to hire us. Not that I'm complaining.
Because he can't always roll crits.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. Okay, so yeah, he's just done this. The guards. Oh dear. Okay.
Does not sound good.
Most of them are taken aback by this thing bursting through the doors. The humans are just getting to their feet. They've kind of been knocked over. The dwarves and the elf, though, they successfully get a couple of cuts in with their little weapons. Doing a little bit of damage, but nothing but really significant, but they've kept it busy. Finden, Frostborn Fireforge, it is your go.
Does he get advantage given all of these attacks that are going on?
Yes.
I think I'm going to use my crossbow.
Oh wait, sorry, hold that thought. That is fine, Finn. It's the troll before you.
Oh no.
Okay. Right. So. Ooh. Okay, so the three humans which you just about got up are knocked to the floor again by the club that this thing's holding. It kind of brings it down over his head and just like, and it doesn't actually hit any of them, but it just sends them scattering backwards. It makes another swing on the dwarves and the elf, but they duck under it. And it lets out another roar. And now it is Finn.
Okay. I'm going to crossbow.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm going to crossbow. Using my warhammer, I'll just get close and make myself a bigger target.
Okay.
Okay. D20 to hit.
Yep.
I got a 4 plus 5, is it? 9.
It says on your sheet, Jack.
Yeah, it's the attack bonus what I had, right? I'm thinking. So
Yeah,
9.
I think they do, but
No, you don't be proficient in it. You don't think you add your proficiency to your attack bonus, do you?
either way, it's not going to hit.
Well, yep. That just whistles past him.
Yeah, kind of just lift it up and go, pew! Just instinctively and
Panic fire.
yeah. You do have experience of fighting with trolls and giants and things like that, though, Jack.
Well,
You would be more than happy is not the words, but you would be fine to get in and hit this thing.
okay. Could I use action surge? No, I couldn't. Could I?
Not now. I'd say because you've already made your attack.
Oh,
so.
I have to do it before. Right.
But yeah. Okay. We'll just wait for your turn. Tom, it is your go again.
All right. Right. So I'm behind him now.
You are.
Can you see me?
No, he can't. He's quite busy.
Yeah, that would make sense. Right. So I'm going to attack him from behind, obviously. And do I get any? Do I get an advantage from?
You have advantage, yeah.
Yes. I have that sneak attack thing, which gives me an extra damage.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm gonna swipe at him twice, but I'm not going to disengage this time because
Mhm.
actions. 1, 2, roll. Oh yeah, natural 1. Best.
Well, the 18 hits.
The 18 does it. uh, D6. Wait, is it extra 2d6 if I only hit it with 1, or is it just?
If you've got advantage, how many attacks are you making?
1 with each sword because I'm dual wielding.
Right, but you've got advantage. So you got an 18 with your first attack, so you roll 2d20 for your second attack as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So that natural 1 wasn't a fumble, that was the one that you discarded from having an advantage.
yes.
Well done, Louis. We completely forgot.
Excellent. You rolled a d6. So 16, does that hit?
Okay, a 16 does not hit.
Ah, so that doesn't matter too much anyway. Now I rolled a 2 for damage on that one. I have this thing on my sheet that says extra 2d6 if advantage.
Yeah,
Sneak
you
attack.
get it. You get a sneak attack bonus.
Okay.
I'll just find it quickly. Okay.
I'm trying to remember if you get sneak attack on each attack.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I only made 1 attack on this one, so.
Once
Yeah, you
per
add an
turn you
extra
can deal,
2d6.
but it's only once per turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's just the once this turn. So.
And you
9.
want another. You want 1 more d6 as well. You've
What
used
for?
2. Oh no, hang on. Only one of those attacks
Yeah.
hit, didn't they? Sorry.
Yeah. So 9 damage.
Cool. Yes, you just swipe into this thing from behind. Cool. Louis.
I don't have to roll to hit again, do I? Because
No, you don't.
just keeps going.
Yeah.
It's the spell that just keeps giving. So it's another d12 of damage. That's another 9.
Cool.
So Harren is he in the same doorway as me?
No, there's a street going off from the gate, and he's in the opposite doorway.
Okay, that's cool. That's what I wanted to. I wasn't quite sure, and I thought I don't want him standing next to me. We make too good a target.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this I just keep focusing this this lightning bolt on him and move it around so it's frying him a bit more.
Cool. Yeah, you notice the skin of this thing is charring very easily.
That's good.
Okay. Harren is also continuing the attack, doing another 7 points. And the guards. Darn, let's see. The humans got a 1 and a 2 last time. This time. But the dwarves and the elf hit again, dealing some more minor damage. Okay. Okay, Jamro.
Yes.
Have we skipped Finn?
No, it's the
Is he
a troll.
attacking me?
It swings in kind of its arm which has its club in it in a way which you wouldn't imagine if this thing wasn't half dead. You don't think it'd be able to do that, and it swings it round, and it catches you in the side.
Oh no.
You nearly avoid it. It's very close, but it just catches you. I've got the wrong dice up. And it's gonna do 6 points of damage. And I need a strength check from you.
So, 24. Strength.
Mm-hmm.
As she notices Jimril.
Sorry, Tom. That was. Yeah. Okay,
Mate.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. As she notices she sees the attack taking out Jamril, Rael shouts out to Finn and yells, "Don't just stand there, get in there!"
You've got to play your character Jack, not Jack.
Okay.
Yes, but this thing isn't done yet. Okay. As you're shouting this, Rael, you see this thing pick up a barrel full of goods ready for exporting from the village next to you and hurl it in your direction, but it overshoots by a long way and splinters on one of the buildings and doesn't really go anywhere near you. And now it is.
Yeah. Oh.
Just go and hit it.
Alright, I'm just gonna rush up. How tall is he again? Compared to me, since I'm a dwarf?
Probably nearly 3 times your height, but that doesn't matter.
Alright. I'm just gonna go for his kneecaps, try and kneecap him, whatever it's called. Since I can't reach his head, and go for the golf shot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. D20 to hit?
Yeah.
Bite the ankle.
Does he get advantage on it, seeing as it's being attacked from front and behind?
Yep, I'll give him that. Plus the 2 Eldritch Blasts.
Oh, natural 20!
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Cool.
What the crits do again? Is it full damage or double?
Roll me your damage.
My damage is terrible, it's 2.
Add the modifiers.
Plus 4, 6.
And double it, so 12.
12 damage, it's alright, I suppose.
It's not that bad.
To
So
be fair.
describe how you charge into this thing.
I'm literally just gonna put my
And shatter
crossbow
its ankle.
in its sheath. Wait, what?
Where were you trying to hit it?
His kneecap.
Okay, so yeah, you destroy the kneecap.
I literally run up, bringing the warhammer with me, kind of gaining momentum, and I just slam it directly into, like, the knee.
Cool. Yeah, you hear this
Directly on.
disgusting,
Yeah.
and it if it was any smaller creature, it would probably be bending backwards now, but it's kind of just the thing staggers for a moment and then stares down at you and roars.
Oh no.
And completely misses you with its reaction attack. It tries to bite you, but you're too low down.
Wow.
So yeah, we're back up to Jamril the Spreadable.
Yeah.
We just got spread, but yeah.
Yeah, I got. Can't believe it's not butter. Right.
Yes, it is. Raining saliva. So you're a bit soaked now, Findon.
So where is this troll looking at the moment?
It's still not looking at you. Its arm kind of moved as if all by itself round to hit you.
Okay.
Its arm's still looking in your general direction, but you don't think the arm can see you. You will still get advantage if you attack it.
Right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Roll for 1. Wow. Does that hit it?
Is that an 18?
Yes.
That hits.
Lovely. So that's 1d6 for that one. which is 8.
Actually, if you've got advantage, you roll 3d6 for that damage, don't you?
Hmm.
Because you get your stealth attack
Yeah,
bonus.
for what? Yeah, for one of them. So yeah, you'll get 3d6.
Oh, okay. So
So
that's 16. That's a good roll. And for the other one is probably not going to hit.
Yeah, that doesn't hit.
Okay, so it's 16.
You like stab one of your blades really far into its thigh, and as you bring it out, you kind of lose balance and just miss with the other one.
Yeah.
Flip.
That doesn't sound good.
I don't know why you guys were worried.
Oh.
Yes, so yeah, you do so, and we're now back round to Rael, who's just going to roll damage again, I imagine.
It is. I will. It's 15 feet tall, eyeless, and has got 2 of those worm things in it. That's why we were worried. And I'm rolling 1s for damage with a witch bolt. That's another reason why we were worried.
Okay, you rolled 1, Rael rolled a 4, so you did a total of 5 damage between you.
4.
Time didn't go too well. You two, I think, have figured out by this point that if you manage to connect the witch bolts, instead of doing something really cool, it kind of fizzles and isn't as useful. So
Crossing the streams is bad.
yes. Okay. The guards. Okay, the dwarves make a blunder this time as they're kind of watching Findon be all awesome and stuff. But everyone else succeeds in hitting. Doing a decent, they do a decent strike this time. Yeah. Findon, this thing brings its fist down and you sidestep it completely. Tries to bite you again and it still fails. And the arm that tries to smash into you, Jambo completely misses. Oh, 2, 3, and a 4. That's bloody ridiculous.
It's the problem with like really big enemies when they roll badly. Just
Yeah.
all the time.
Gosh. Okay. And then it throws another barrel, which on a 5 does not hit Harren either. 2, 3, 4, and a 5. Back up to Jamro.
Yay.
What are you doing, Jamro? No, no, what am I saying? What am I saying? Findon. Sorry, I'm getting the wrong order again.
I'm gonna go for the other kneecap.
Okay.
Okay, so D20. I got 10 plus my thingy. So 10, 15? No, 16.
16. Okay, that does not hit.
Aww. Alright, well, I just swung around then.
Okay, you do actually hit it, but you hit, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a part of the knee which if you hit causes a reflex reaction.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Funny boat? No.
Where you kick out. That's what doctors do.
Yeah, with a hammer.
Yes. You hit this.
Smacks you.
And it sends you flying backwards and you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Well,
This is no, there's nothing to do with the creature, it's just awful
Yeah.
coincidence. And you're now prone.
well,
Now it's Jamro.
lower down. Do I do any damage? Wait, no, I don't.
Yeah, you did 1 bludgeoning damage to it. Now it is dispedible.
Ah, yes. So, I'm gonna. It seems like my strategy is working.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen that it's kicked out its knee. So
Yep.
I'm gonna try and stab it in the knee. But in the back
Okay.
of the knee, so it falls over.
Yeah, roll for damage.
And
I mean, roll
probably
for
not on
attack.
me.
Roll for attack. With advantage.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah! 2 natural ones! My favourite!
Uh,
Oh dear.
There are points where you just can't get away from them, aren't you?
Oh.
Right, roll me your second attack, and I'm going to figure out what getting 2 natural ones means.
I got another natural 1 and an 18. I'm getting really lucky this time.
Okay, well that isn't a
Three
fumble giving you an
natural ones in a
advantage,
row.
but even
Okay.
still. Wow, okay,
It
right,
was.
so... Okay, well you can roll for damage on that last one, your second attack.
Yay. How many d6 do I get the thingy?
That's 3, that's 3.
Yeah. There we go. 10.
10, cool. Okay. Do-do-do. Flip. The dice escapes. Okay, so this thing's arm, which seems to have a mind of its own, as your mid-attack, comes back round and
Oh god.
smacks you in the side again for 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
9. Okay.
I was considering making it double, but I'm not that mean.
I think I'm
That's
alright.
not true at all, but I'm not in this case. And I need you to make another strength check for me, please.
Come on, no natural ones.
And you can make this one at disadvantage.
3. Oh, disadvantage. So,
Well, it can't get better than that.
well, no.
Yeah, so it's a 3.
Yay!
Yeah, so you are 2 knocked prone.
Oh,
That's not good English. You 2 are knocked prone. There we go.
oh, that's bad.
So you're knocked prone, the fighter's knocked prone, most of the guard are knocked prone. Wizard, it's up to you.
Okay, I am cautious of the fruit on the floor. I am continuing to focus my witch bolt on this thing. I am stepping out of the doorway.
Yep.
How far away from this thing am I at the moment?
Probably around, at this point, 25 feet, I'd say.
Okay, in which case I can't back up much more than about 5 feet without ending up out of range of it. So I'm not going to move further back. But Rael moves out of the doorway, just continuing this this blast on the thing, and yells out, "Hey, hey, over here!" And does 3 points of damage.
4.
It's a first level spell. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. That's better than Harren, he does 1.
Oh.
And the guards... Only the elf is still in range, and...
Should get advantage.
Blunder. Yep. Fail. Okay, so... Only the elf is still up at the moment, the others have been knocked aside. But he does score a pretty strong blow on this thing. And now it is the turn of said thing. Okay. Okay, so Jamwil, this thing's fist
Oh,
comes down on you. Not fist, sorry. Club comes down on you.
no. Club.
I tried not
Again,
fist.
as it knocked you over before. And you are now pretty sure that this thing can somehow see you. Doing another... That's the wrong dice. I'm holding the dice, that's why I can't see it. Doing another 6 points of bludgeoning damage. You don't have to make a strength check this time.
I don't.
No, because you're already on the floor.
Was it 6?
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm on 9 health.
And Findon, you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as this fist comes smashing down onto you as well. Did you hear that, Jack?
Sorry, no, what?
You took 6 points of damage.
Ah, goddamn.
And... Oh, okay, now he's doing the decent rolls. I'm going to need a concentration check, Louis, as Wael takes 5 points of bludgeoning damage from a barrel to the face. I think you're muted, Louis.
I'm going to use inspiration to
Yep.
to re-roll that one.
No problem.
That's more
There we
like
go.
it.
Okay, so yeah, you anyone looking, you take this barrel and just kind of keep going.
I move the stick across and just fry the barrel and deflect it with the witch bolt, but I take a chunk of wood in the face. How much did you say I lose?
5
Lost
points. Yeah. Yeah. This thing is just kind of going mad now. It's smashing its arms and throwing things and yeah.
It's pretty fast too. If it can manage to hit with a club and punch and throw, then
It is surprisingly fast. Specifically, Findon would be thinking, trolls are not this fast. That just doesn't happen.
I'm gonna.
Sorry. What were you saying, Louis? Sorry.
I'm gonna shout out to Harren and say, if you got anything bigger than that witch bolt, you better throw it now.
Harren shouts something back, but we can't hear it over the sound of 2 witch bolts going off. And this thing roaring for that matter. We are on to What's-your-my-face. Findon,
Yay.
now's your time to shine.
Alright. I'm still on the floor, aren't I?
Yes.
But if I stay on the floor, am I less likely to be hit?
No, anything that attacks you has advantage.
Okay, I'm gonna get up. And can I just sprint towards the kneecap that remains undamaged
Yep.
and go for
How
it
much
again?
kick
Hopefully, I'm gonna try and aim not for the funny bone place.
Yep.
And yeah.
Okay. Make an attack roll.
That's not good, I got a 2.
Oh, no.
If it was a crit, it would have kicked you again, but... So yeah, your attack just comes short.
So I literally I act a bit dazed, get up, charge forward, and just fall over. Well, no, but yeah.
You get up and trip on a rock and face palm again.
Not good. Alright. Well, not much else I could do.
Yay.
I should have used action surge. Oh well.
Okay. So, we're back up to Jamwil.
Right. So it probably does see me now.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna hit it once and then use the disengage action to
Okay.
see if I can get away.
You do so, or you can do so. You know.
I mean, I'm not retreating. I'm just
Advancing in reverse.
Tactically moving
Yeah.
your way out of range.
I'm just playing it safe.
Make your attack roll.
It's just 1d20 this time because he's not
Mhm.
Steve. Yeah. Oh yeah. Joy of joys. At least it's not a natural one. I probably don't hit with that one. So
No, I don't think so.
yeah, that's it
So
then.
you take a swing and you make a step back
Yeah.
out of range. Cool. Rael, you've taken wood.
I've taken a
You've
barrel
taken
to
a
the
barrel
face.
to the face. But you're still shooting.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I can do. The intelligent money is just keep pounding it with damage. How I mean, I've seen 4 of them. I mean, not
Make
quite
me a perception check.
be a good one. Oh, crap. That will be a 7.
It looks nearly dead to you.
Okay, if it's barely standing, I'm gonna step towards. No, I'm not. This thing's undead. I'm just gonna stand my ground and hit it for 4 points with the witch bolt.
Okay.
I might go back to my doorway, actually, having been hit by the barrel. But I'm yelling out at it as I do, in the hopes of attracting it away from my comrades.
That's the wrong dice. Right. Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Cool. So, just one moment while I look something up. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
So how's everyone doing?
Doing alright?
Yeah.
Lovely. Good stuff.
Can't find many good religious quotes, like, that I can misquote.
I haven't really said many this time. Well, that's primarily because we've been battling.
Yeah.
The thing to do is find a.
List or something.
Well, no, I was going to say the first thing to do is find a list of deities that exist in this world, and then find 1 or 2 that you that you particularly can get your head around. So you know what I don't know this world well enough, but you know what's the dwarven god and what's its 2 or 3 main primary attributes. You know, what does it like, what doesn't it like, etc. And see if you find 2 or 3 deities, and then, like, you know, if you've got God of War, go and look up, I don't know, I want to say Lao Tzu, that's not who I mean. Is it Tzu's son who wrote The Art of War?
Yeah.
You know, go and find quotes like that, get half a page of them, and just write down a couple and look for things that you can misquote, that are obvious misquotes from it. But you know, those you know, something like that's a good starting point.
I forgot what my god was called. I'm trying to find the second page of the PDF.
Should be there somewhere.
You know, the worst
Okay,
case is
anyway.
make one up. Ollie won't mind.
Yeah, I have got a list of I've got a list of all the Dwarven gods somewhere, but yeah.
Okay.
It could always be Satchel again.
Who?
It's from a different game.
I don't remember. I wasn't
No,
there.
you weren't. It's the same lot of gods, so yeah. I'll talk to you about that another point. But yeah, so the witch bolt from whatchamacallit, from Harren, there we go. From Harren dissipates from his sword, and he drops it, and he starts searching around in a pouch of his, and he goes aha, and pulls out this thing, and I'm doing hand actions, and you can't see me. And he kind of holds it up to like the side, and it twinkles, and you can see this is a diamond, vial. And he mutters some incantation or something, and hurls this thing at the troll. And oh, thank goodness for that, he hits, because that's an expensive spell. And he hits it, and as it's moving, this thing changes and gets bigger and starts to glow a bright orange. And comes into contact with this creature and erupts in flames. I've just got to figure out how many dice I need to roll. Using oh, that's okay. So this thing burst into flames. It was chromatic orb, by the way. And it does 17 points of fire damage. And this thing howls out. It clearly did not like said fire.
Ollie, chromatic orb, you need that diamond, but you don't throw the diamond. You just need it as a focus for the spell.
No.
Well, haven't got that wrong.
No, that's fine. It may be more
I
potent if you
did say
throw
that
the
and then
diamond.
go, wait a second, I don't think you had to throw it, but oh well. Yeah, that happened. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that. But anyway, this thing did not like the flames. That just covered it. It did not like them at all. And how does it go? It swings at you once, Findon, it misses. It swings at you again, Findon, it misses. It swings at you a third time. And does another 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Ooh, alright. That's so good.
It is
90.
thrashing about though now. It's not. It's like it's more of a glancing blow than anything. It's not really not
like
much of an impact.
Just randomly hitting.
Yeah. It's kind of still trying to swat the flames.
Okay, so he's dying. Good.
And now it is your go.
Alright, I'm gonna try and stand up again and hit his kneecap.
Don't hit the same part of the kneecap.
Yep, go for it.
Okay, D20. 18!
That hits.
Whoop, whoop.
Now.
Roll
D8.
for damage.
7! Plus 4.
11.
11. Hey.
Okay, you smash into this other thing's kneecap and it sinks to its knees.
Hey.
Jambril, it's your go.
Wait, now he's closer to me.
Right, so I disengaged last turn.
Mhm.
So I'm going to re-engage this turn
Okay.
and hit him twice and see if I can just move. I'm not sure how far away I am, but I'm going to try and.
You can get back. You won't be at advantage this time, but you can.
Alright, so I'm going to do that. Do I get the advantage or not?
You know what? It's actually, no, you do get the advantage.
Right.
It's pretty.
So 20, non-natural.
Cool. They both hit.
That's for one of them because it's
Oh right, yeah, that hits.
advantage, which is 3d6, which is 11 damage for
Cool.
the first one, and the second one is. Well, I'll get off first.
But that
7
first one
plus
was
5 is
enough.
12.
Describe to me how you finish this thing off.
Oh, I'm finishing it off.
Mhm. That first one was enough.
Alright, can I pretend it's the second one? Because.
Yep.
Okay. So, I run towards it, blindly slash at its back, which doesn't really do anything. But then, having the correct balance after doing that, I stab it in the side kidney area, which spurts out troll crap.
Yep.
I don't know what I have, man. I don't know.
Yeah, cool. This thing, you hear this noise from inside this creature, and it falls forward, and that sound sounded very much like the
Watch
worm
out.
things you've seen before.
Might fall on you.
And this thing starts to slump forward, and as it does so, from the left-hand eye, one of these worms, a big, even bigger than the one which was in the human, comes launching out and
Kill it with
starts to
fire.
slither straight towards Findon.
Can I think I'm next in initiative order. Have I got enough time to react by throwing a frostbolt at it?
You can try it, yeah.
Because I'm guessing I can't use the witch bolt anymore. Oh, boom!
Oh.
Ray of Frost's 1d8, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, I think that would be 16 points of damage, as it's a crit.
Yep. This thing comes slithering. I'm going to describe this for you here, Findon, because I think it's going to be cool. It slithers towards you almost more like a snake than a magaz, they kind of seemed like before, and jumps, and as it's mid-air, this frostbolt comes flying past probably over your head actually, and just freezes this thing mid-jump. And as it's still coming towards you because it's mid-air, you grab it with your hands and just bring it down behind you and smash it on the floor, and it shatters into hundreds of pieces.
Oh, good.
I'm doing arm actions again, you can't see it, it's really
Good.
depressing. But yeah, as far as you guys can tell, you're out of combat.
Oh.
There's only one. We've only seen one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to scream out to watch out for the second one.
Tom, make me a... What would it be? Do you have medicine, Tom?
No, I don't.
Yeah, just make me a straight intelligence check, so D20 plus your intelligence.
14.
Cool. Okay, you were pretty sure that you impaled the other worm when you stabbed the creature.
Sorry?
You're pretty sure that you stabbed the other worm thing
Oh, good.
when you stabbed the creature, and that's what the scream was.
Alright. Not sure if pretty sure is good enough, but
My thought too.
The only way these things seem to be able to get out was through the neck or the eyes, and both of those holes are also covered on the ground now, so...
yeah.
Yeah, you do as you will. You're not in initiative order now anyway, even if there's still something there.
Okay, I'm going to be pushing the guards back, making sure that they aren't getting too. I mean, not that I imagine most of them will want to be getting too close to it, but pushing them back, trying to make sure that they stay clear of it, and we've got an area around it.
Cool, yep. Findon, you doing anything?
Sorry, my sister's been annoying. What can I do?
Are you aware of what's happening?
Not really. Killed a worm, then I've shouted at my sister for a minute.
Okay. That sounds normal. Tom, Jamrul thinks that he stabbed the other worm, which he, I'm not sure, may have communicated with the group. Yeah, he did. And Rael has told the other guards to get back.
Okay, so is there worms in the ground now? Well, not on the ground, but you know.
Well, you smashed one, and you've not seen the other one.
Oh, well, I'm gonna back up while looking around. Because
Okay.
I don't want to be infected by this weird zombie worm.
Yeah.
So I'm just basically look from a distance.
So a couple of minutes passes and nothing happens.
I'm going to look to Harren. What's Harren doing at this point?
Harren's kind of... Harren's actually moved forward towards this thing, and he's muttering to himself, "No, you didn't have to throw it, was I thinking throwing a flipping diamond? That cost me..." And he's searching around the body of this thing, not really paying much heed to the danger which may still be there.
I'm going to shout at him. Harren, we've only seen one of them. They're normally two of them.
Oh, you just screwed him over. You know what happens next? He's gonna turn around and go, "What?" And then,
Ooh, no.
Jamril, do you think you caught it? Was that when you got it in the kidney?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got it, but as the great... No, I'm not going to.
Okay, I'm going to make my way kind of round. I'm not getting closer than about 5 foot to it, but I'm going to make my way round to where Jamril is. Is it lying on its face?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to pull out a dagger and walk forwards to where the sword wound is in the kidney. And I'm going to pull back and just chunk into it and get the dagger as deep in just below where the wound is as possible.
Yeah.
And just try and open it up whilst kind of beckoning Jamril towards me and just saying, if you see this thing, just do me a favour and try and get it before it gets me. And then I'm going to try and saw around the wound. And what I want to do is prise a chunk of flesh out to see whether or not, you know, if he thinks he skewered it, hopefully it's still in the wound.
Yeah. Yeah, this thing smells disgusting. But you remove this, and sure enough, underneath is the worm, but it is in 2 pieces. And it's not moving or anything.
Okay, I'm gonna.
These pieces don't regenerate, I hope. Sci-fi
Not
stuff,
as far
yeah.
as you've seen.
Rael kind of goes, oh, and then like lifting up part of her again, and just like covering over her nose, she's going to start where the thing's been severed in half. She's going to start with the end of her blade, just prodding around in it, trying to get an idea of the kind of anatomy of the inside of the worm.
Okay. It's quite difficult. The wound isn't very clean from the angle it came in. It's quite ravaged by the short sword. But there seem to be lots of what you imagine as some kind of digestive systems and things like that.
Okay. There's no obvious kind of glands or poison sacs or anything like that I can
Not
see.
this far back down, no.
Okay, I've got 2 of them I can tear apart later and see if I can find anything useful in them.
Yeah. Hammond at this point, he's been lifting the arms and stuff and of this thing, and he goes, I found it, and he lifts the diamond back up in the air. And he said, you see, at first I thought you had to throw it, but then I realized you didn't have to throw it, and so I thought I'd lost it, and yeah, I'm sorry for alarming everyone.
That's fine.
Well, did its job, I suppose.
He looks to the guards and says, he looks to you, actually, and says, do you think the other worm is dead?
Nope, it's round here and it's going to jump into your face, but yeah.
I
Okay.
hope so, because I'm about to pickle it. Yeah. Yeah, and unless they regenerate, in which case I don't want to think about that. I've got 2 of them in a jar. Yeah, unless they regenerate, this one's had it.
In which case, he motions for the guards, get rid of this thing before too many of the villagers panic.
Okay, as the guards come forwards, I am going to dig back out that box. I've got another jar. I had 3 of them. I've got another jar. I'm going to pull that jar out, and I'm going to have another really close look at this thing and just make sure that there is there's no spines or anything on the outside of the worm's body.
Not that you can see, no.
Okay, I have leather gloves. Okay.
Yes.
I am going to pull out the worm and drop it into the jar. Has it started shrinking again?
Yeah. As you remove it, starts to shrink.
And I'm going to pull out the last little bit, put that in, as try and seal the top of the jar without kind of getting troll blood and whatever that thing was, juice on it. Seal that. Put the jar to one side, and then I'm going to cast Prestidigitation on my gloves and on the outside of the jar, and just kind of clean that up, and then put the jar away. And I'm going to turn back to Harren and say, what was that name of the apothecary made the apple fizzer things?
Apoth.
Apoth. That's it. Might like to. I was thinking more that, well, this one in particular, since it's already pretty damaged. I don't know what it was spitting at us, but if we could get some of that, harvest it, and he looks up at Jamril and says, I reckon that'd go pretty neat on the edge of your sword from time to time.
Indeed. That sounds like a good plan.
It sounds like a good plan.
And we shall have a short break there, I think, if you want to get a drink or anything. And
Yeah,
Tom needs to leave. Hope you enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's been good.
Cool. Bye, Tom.
Bye.
See you in a moment.
Oh, I should go and grab a drink. I'll be back.
Hello? Just me back so far then. Hello?
Hello.
NGOs?
Oh.
That was Mother. Have you just got back?
Yeah.
Cool. I was worried everyone was waiting for me, and like, I just hadn't realised everyone was already back.
Well, good.
What are you eating, Jack?
Coffee. Quick.
Chocolate cake?
No.
Crisps? I think you said crisps.
No, half a mini foot.
Still can't understand you.
Oh, I got it. Ho. I am so chuffed. I've just found out they're doing a sequel to
Oh, okay.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Oh,
It's going to be so cool.
half a mini Twix, if anyone who was listening wanted to know. Okay, so where we left off 2 minutes ago or so, you just destroyed the troll thing. You eliminated the worms and pickled whatever one of them. And the town guard, who are also the town cleaners, it would seem, are now trying to remove the body, which isn't going too well, given there's only 6 of them, but they're trying.
Do I know anything about these creatures? Are they unusual, or are they not in zombie form, but just as normal creatures? Is there anything about them that's
The
unusual?
worms.
No, the troll.
Oh, the troll. Not really. I mean, they do have regenerative powers. I'm not sure if regenerative is a word, but you know.
Okay. Do I have any idea where they get that regenerative power from?
No, it's one of the many mysteries of the strange creatures of this world. But it is like in normal D&D, hindered by acid or fire, and given the fire attack that was dealt to it by Haven, it's likely it won't be regenerating anytime soon.
So I was just trying to work out if there was anything that I could harvest from the body.
Not that you know of. There's no specific organ or anything.
That's fine. It's always worth checking.
Yeah. Okay. So Haven looks back at you and he says, "Now, before before we were attacked, I think I was about to explain some things to you. However, through the current offence, I think that it is easier that I just take you to see the mayor personally, instead of me making a mess of everything and explaining it."
So the bath and the meal's on a back burner.
Believe me, you want to hear this.
Lead on.
And so yeah, if you are willing to follow, he'll lead you off.
Yep.
Cool. What hit points are you guys on, just out of interest?
I'm on 15 out of 21.
I'm on 19 out of 33.
Okay.
And I think
Tom was on 9.
yeah, Jim Rule was down to 9, and I'm guessing he started with more than 21. So
Yeah, he got hit pretty bad. He also rolled 3 natural ones, which is... yes, so he leads you along the streets to a rather nicer looking area of Eloth Porton. There's some markets, though there aren't that many people. People are starting to come back out of their houses due to the way that the streets are laid out. They're quite echoey, so you could hear the banging on the gate from quite a way away.
not to mention the roars, screams.
And the wars and the crackling of lightning and stuff like that. So yeah, people were starting to emerge from their houses. But yeah, he leads you towards this much larger wooden building, which is on a slight hill. Still not that tall, but it has a winding road that leads up to it, to the door. I'm doing hand signals again. It's really not helpful. And yeah, so he leads you up. And when you get to the top, he knocks on the door, which are big oak wooden doors, 2 of them. And it makes a nice sound as he knocks on them. And after a moment, someone comes to the door and it opens. And it's someone they just look like a servant. A servant. They're in like brown clothes, and they as far as servants go, they don't look that worse off, but you can tell that compared to the general folk, they are of a different standing. And he motions for you to come inside, and Harren marches in. You may, in case you'd forgotten, Harren is like an ambassador for the mayor, so he comes to this place quite a lot, and that is represented in how he goes around. So I don't know what the word is, pompously perhaps. The man, after watching Harren goes in, looks back and sees you two, and Jam also three.
I'm just thinking, I don't know about the other two. I'm guessing that Gemril is still partly covered in blood. Finn, I'm guessing, has seen better days. My
Covered in
hair,
saliva.
yeah, my hair's stood out on all kinds of crazy angles. We're probably not making quite the best impression that we could do.
Yeah, the man looks at you. There's a brief moment of confusion, and he goes, "Oh, okay. You're the troll hunters, I presume. Well, not necessarily troll hunters, but that is what you've been referred to as.
We are now.
Please come in. You should be I imagine you've already been doing a great help to Eloth Porton."
Evidently.
Harren turns and says, "Come on."
Follow him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man closes the door behind you and follows you at a respected distance. It's a strange room. It's like there's an entrance room and then there's a set of stairs with stairs going off to the left and the right. And Harren marches up the stairs and goes to the left, and there's another door, but he doesn't knock on this one. He just opens it and goes, "Mayor! Where's the mayor?" To which the man responds, "He was, That's a good question. I think when he heard all the banging, he went to the safe room." To which Harren sighs. "Follow me this way," he says. He's standing in this room now, so if you will follow.
Yep.
Those are not to.
Yep. There is there's a fireplace, which he pushes a brick in on, and the fireplace spins round, revealing a rather strange small man.
Hobbit says.
He's not a hobbit, but he is a small man. Hello. I was just about to come out. As you can see, that was a rather unexpected turn of events, you could say. Because the thing turned. Never mind. His eyes rest upon you three. Okay. You look like you've seen better days. I imagine that you are the reason we are not up to our necks in blood right now due to a troll infestation.
I'm just gonna look at Jamril and Finn and go a bit quiet and look down.
I'm not gonna say anything. Just like nod my head.
Not talkers. Well, that's fine. I'm going to presume that's who you are anyway, given your silence. I am the mayor of this town. Mayor Three Tree. That is 3 as in the number and then tree. But you just call me the mayor. It's much easier and it doesn't get confusing. Yes. So, Harren, these are the 3, I presume.
Aaron
Yes.
said you could tell us why we're here.
Yes. Yes. Indeed, I can. Just allow me to speak to my ambassador for one moment, please. It's nothing secretive or conspirative or anything. It's just just to know what's happened.
Okay, while they're talking, I'm gonna look around the room and what's the inside of the safe room like?
Okay, so you're not actually in the safe room. You're in the other room still, and haven't just opened the revolving thing to the safe room, and the man popped out. But
Oh, okay,
from what you saw as it passed through, it looked like a brick room. The safe room did.
okay.
But the current room is rather well furnished. There's nice leathery chairs and paintings hung on the walls. It's a rather nice. It's the mayor's office, you would imagine.
Right. Is there a sort of is there anything to drink on the side in there?
There there is yes, what's it called? A pitcher. There's a pitcher and some glasses. The pitcher's water in.
And that's it. There's just water.
Yeah. There is a cupboard on the other side of the room which has a lock on it, which you can take as what you will. But
Okay, I'm gonna pour myself a drink of water. As the two of them
Mhm.
talk and
But yeah, the mayor sees this and goes, yeah, please have a drink. I'd offer you something more, but I packed it all away when I heard the banging.
thank you. And I'm gonna pour 3 glasses and pass them out.
hmm I imagine Jam will take one as well. So after another 30 seconds or so of quiet discussion, um, the mayor and Harren come back over to you. Right, I have decided what we are going to do. Like I think you may have figured out or not, I'm not entirely sure, but our original problem was with these trolls coming across from the outlands or so, the forests, and eating our cattle and so on and so forth, and it's very bad for business, being a coastal town. Trade with other settlements and other lands is one of our main sources of income, and if we lose this, it's not good. Um, we did hire you here originally to be able to help us protect against these through training the guard and putting in place defences and other such likes. However, it seems that you may have in fact a higher purpose than we had imagined. You've already proven to us that the original task that we set out for was way below the level that we were expecting you to be able to achieve. I mean, the troll that you must have fought must have been 5 times more difficult and nasty and horrible as anything which we could have originally imagined would attack. I mean, no other troll has ever broken through a gate for a start. Anyway,
Yes.
I digress. I am still rather busy. I need to attend to the townsfolk and make ensure that they all realize everything is okay and there is nothing to worry about, and that there's probably no more trolls or worms or actually I'm probably not going to say that, but scratch me, I do my planning as I go. I will see you later. I'm going to leave you with Harren. He is perfectly capable. Yes. Nice to meet you, gentleman and lady. Well, unless you have anything to say to him, he patters off.
As the door is hopefully closed rather than still closing, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't bet on it. I'm gonna turn to Harren and say, in a tone of voice that puts across the fact that, frankly, I'm not overly impressed with the mayor. Well, everything's much clearer now.
Yes, that's why he has me as an ambassador. Anyway, it will become much clearer. Just follow me.
Lead on.
Fair enough.
So he walks you through a door on the opposite side of the room into another room, which now has no doors, which seems like a meeting room. There's a large table in it. And he walks over to this fireplace and he pushes a different brick, and the fireplace moves to the side. And there's a staircase heading down and down. And he starts to walk down it and then stops and goes, you should probably follow me. If you want
I'm
answers.
already following him.
Yeah, cool. And I imagine Findon is.
Yeah.
Cool. So yes, you walk down these stairs for goes on for 10, 15 seconds. And then it flats out at the bottom and you start walking along a dark stone corridor, which is lit every now and again by torches, but it's quite dingy.
So just to check, is this going down to where we thought his where his safe room was?
No, this is a different fireplace.
Okay. No, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. So I'm eating cake at the same time. Eventually, you reach the end of this corridor, and there's a cylinder. Well, it's not all of a cylinder because there's a corridor, but you imagine that the shape is a cylinder, with a door in it.
Okay.
And Harry walks into it and beckons for you to follow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he pushes a button on a metal panel, and there's a strange whirring noise, an oddly mechanical whirring noise, yet mechanical yet kind of magical in a sense. And these doors come round and close the exit off, and you feel the floor beneath you and the lift, as it were, start to move up. This is.
Now that's not something that we're going to have come across before.
No, that's pretty weird.
I'll buy it. What the hell's that?
It's a marvelous contraption, isn't it? Well, there had to be some way into the watches, didn't there?
We're going inside the watches.
Yes, you wanted to know about them, I presume?
Yes.
And today is indeed your lucky day, because not many people get to find out about these guys at all. These is a, well, I'm not really sure what it is, some kind of levitation, mechanical spell, enchantment thing. It goes beyond even my understanding and the rest of us. Everything will become clear soon enough. The elevator slows and the doors reopen into a larger room, which is still a circle. And you presume it to be the far left tower that you saw.
Okay.
Don't know what it.
He leads you out. These are the Watchers. Common misconception number one: people think that Watchers are people in the towers. No, the Watchers are the towers. Though you're all clever folk, I'm sure you'd already figured that out, but just to brush that up in case you had not.
Well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
How many towers are there again? I forgot.
there's 4.
4 towers.
They were in like a line. Yeah, and they're very, very tall. He leads you. The room's full of desks and books and bookshelves and potion vials and things like that. Strange things. Some strange metal contraptions which look very odd and foreign to you. But he leads you through a metal, not a metal door, a stone archway along a stone corridor, and into another room where 3 people are sitting. As you enter, the people look up, and as Haran coughs. Jamril, Rael, Findon, these are the keepers of the Watchers. Vasfal, Telekar, and Erathil.
Sup? No.
They all nod in turn. They are all Sauri, which are a species of humanoid reptilian. I guess similar to a dragonborn, but
Okay, so they're not are they common? Are they unusual?
they're from where you're from, they're very uncommon. From what you've heard, they're slightly more common in Equil, but still a fairly rare sight to see.
So what were they called?
Their names or the species?
Give me the species.
It's Saurai, which is Sauri.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And there were 3 of them in there. What were their names?
Vasfal, Vasfarl.
A-R-L. Yeah.
Telekar, which is Tellekar.
Okay.
And Erathil, which is Erarthill.
So, okay, so he introduces them. Sorry, did you say they stood up and?
They nodded in turn as their names were announced. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to breathe. Saurai. I've heard of you, of course, but never met one of you before.
No, well, being from Elkar, that is hardly surprising. A kind didn't really do the moving of lands like the others did. Yes, it is glad to be recognized, though, and not frowned upon and unnoticed. You are the 3 who have solved the problems with the worms, are you not?
You already know about the worms.
He looks at Haran. Well, there are 5 keepers. There's these 3, and then there's me. But I'm less of a keeper. I'm kind of
Temporary
in
job,
training,
yeah.
as it was.
Intern.
Yeah, I'm the intern. And then there's you hear a noise as he's saying this, and the doors of another lift or mysterious magical lifting machine open, and out walks the librarian and him, who you have already met.
So the 5 are the 3 Saurai, Haran, and the librarian.
Mm-hmm.
So the strange little man we met earlier, the mayor.
Yes.
Does he know about this?
Some of it, not all of it. He knows about the Watchers and about us. Doesn't know the librarian is one of us, as there are different entrances to the Watchers, one of which being in the library. And he knows some of the details, but not as much as we are going to tell you.
Hey.
But you know about the worms. Had I already shown the worm to the librarian? Or had I
Yes.
I hadn't got the worm by then. We knew. I'm trying to. I think I
No,
might
you
have got
did.
this
You
mixed
had the
up.
worm. You literally picked it up and shoved it in his face.
Okay, fair enough. Um, so did you know about the worms before I met with him?
In a manner of speaking, we had our doubts about what the attackers may have been, but as for overall, we have known about the worms for a very, very long time.
I
Yeah.
turn and look at Harren and say some warning might have been nice.
Yes, well, I didn't know I was on the ship with you. And like I said,
Yeah.
intern.
That's brilliant.
That is, you're all still here, so I would not be too worried. Anyway, there are much more important things we must attend to.
No.
Such as.
Please sit down.
Oh, this isn't going to go well.
Okay. What kind of chairs are there? What are the furnishings
This
like?
is there's the interior of the room looks like a normal room. There's wooden chairs, just there's easily enough for all of you.
Okay. Is there an extra one?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to drag the extra one over, put it in front of the one that I'm going to sit on, and put my feet up, kind of lying across it so that I can lie back a bit.
Yep. What's Edgil doing? Just coincidentally.
Edgar.
Uh, Evgil, I think I have probably. Do you run familiars? I love asking these kinds of questions of people that haven't thought about it because I wouldn't have done if you'd asked me about it. Do you run a standard D&D book? I think you can kind of dispel familiars and
Phase them in
then
and out.
conjure them back. So I think I'm going to fade Evgil out
Yeah,
and
no, that's
he
fine.
can go off, and I'm just gonna sit in the chair and rest my head on the back of it if I possibly can.
Yep.
Try and get
They're not.
comfortable and stretch out some of the kinks.
Yeah. They're not terribly crude chairs. They're just not extremely fashionable.
Okay.
Howard also puts up a chair as does the librarian, who looks at you and says, "Congratulations, by the way, on fighting that worm troll thing. That's quite a feat, I must say. Um, though, Harren, seriously,
Thanks.
why did you throw the diamond?" To which some grumble response is made. But yeah, then he looks back to the Sarai who begin to speak. The main one who is speaking is is it yeah, Vasfar. He's the main guy speaking. This might be a bit much to take in all at once, but unfortunately we might not have much time to explain it. Eloth, the traveller, who you have all heard of, and you have all heard of, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was his name?
Eloth,
Eloth the Traveller. Okay,
yes.
yeah.
He is known from travelling from land to land, making settlements, so on and so forth. While he was a traveller, he was not from this world. He was from the beyond. When they say his ship would travel from land to land, it did, but not through the ocean, through the sky. He was an alien, if you will, though we are aliens to other races, and all of us here are aliens to one another, but a true alien from the beyond who, for some reason, decided to come down and help us. A long, long time ago, very few places were settled, and they were extremely overcrowded, and they were full of poverty and disease and destruction, and it was a rather terrible way of living. We remember it, as Sarai lived that long. Some of you are elven kin. Well, I'm sorry, you're half-elf, but some elves would also have lived that long, but generally dare not to remember it either. But one day this humongous metal ship came down from the sky and sent these giant rods of metal and magic into the earth. It's one of these rods that you're sitting in now. The Watchers are like settlement creators. Their interior full of machinery which we, even though being here so long, do not possibly understand, which is designed to make houses, buildings, schools, factories, streets, rivers. These were launched from this huge ship into the ground, and then around them settlements began to spring up. Eloth was seen amongst people, telling them of these new settlements where they can go and live a better life. And he was right. People did live better lives than the ones that they had before. That's the first point to make note of, which might be a bit hard to take in. Are you still all keeping up?
Yeah, I am.
I think so. I just the point I just want to check that I understood correctly is he was saying that the three of them, the three Sarai, remember this.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Do I know my father, Shimladir, was Elven? Would he have been around at the same time or not? Or
This is a long time ago. So the settlements of Eloth has been around as long as you can remember, and to many people, Eloth is a folk hero kind of thing, and people aren't sure if he existed. You never really talked to your father about it.
I left when I was about 5, so
Exactly.
I don't know. So
You're
I
not
don't
sure.
recall.
You're not sure if your father would have been old enough, but maybe one of his kin would have been.
Okay.
Sarai do live for an age, though, a long time, surpassing elves in a lot of cases.
Blimey. Okay.
But yeah, if in which case we shall continue with our story. This is where it gets a bit difficult. This is now to do with the infestation, the disease, the worms. So it's not directly linked to what we just told you, but we're picking out the main bits and we'll fill you in on the gaps along the way when we feel that they need filling. This isn't the most ideal, but like I said, we don't know how much time we have. There are ruptures between places in time and space. Wormholes, as we call them. There is one such wormhole that we know of, which is somewhere in the beyond, in a a field in the beyond that is full of rocks, huge, ginormous rocks. And these rocks occasionally, very, very occasionally, travel towards and through this wormhole, which can, when the time is right, cause them to materialize somewhere else. Materialize probably isn't the word they'd use, but oh well. These wormholes shift in where they appear, sometimes in other areas of the beyond, sometimes on distant worlds, and once or twice here in Equil. The first time this happened was a long time ago. Less time than when Eloth came, but still a long time ago. I cannot remember the dates, for there have been a lot of those, but a huge rock came through this rift in the sky and crashed down onto the plains of Equil before it was more largely settled. And it burned for days. Everyone thought that it was punishment from the gods for something we had done. But then it stopped. And it was only when people went to investigate and came back as morphed creatures that we realized that it might have been a curse after all.
When you say morphed, you mean like those things that attacked us today?
You are a sharp one, unfortunately for you. The stages that you have seen so far have only been the first. You may have noticed they're faster, have tough skin. If these things stay within the people for longer, then it will be hard to recognize their former selves. They do truly become monsters.
So do you think another rock has come through?
We would have reason to believe so. But before we get on to that, let me finish the story. Eloth was still around at this point, you see. He had been here for a couple of 100 years, probably by this point, but it may have been more. And he knew something of this parasitic worm. He told us, you see. We were already in the Watchers by this point. We've been here for a very long time. He told us that there was another world once, one with incredible technology, which they used to make all kinds of things, mechanical and biological. One scientist, researcher, alchemist, sorcerer, whatever you want to call them, took his research a bit too far in an attempt to try and create an ultimate soldier which would be able to destroy the other continents of their planet. It went wrong, quite badly wrong, and this thing spread throughout their planet until the only option they could think of was to destroy it. Hence the field of rocks that now reside in the beyond. Though apparently not all these worms were destroyed in the blast. So, Eloth equipped a group with technology which, like I said before, we still do not understand. And he sent them, after many other groups had gone and returned malformed or not returned at all, to destroy this rock, destroy any traces of the worms, once and for all. And to everyone's joy and amazement, I guess, they did.
I'm feeling like the Lord of the Rings theme, like they destroy it, but then it turns out it wasn't destroyed. So we must go back to Mount Doom and cast it in there. But you know,
Maybe.
It's hardly unique to Lord of the Rings, is it, in literary history?
yeah.
Yeah. So, well,
So the story of Eloth the Traveller,
Mm-hmm.
we've heard the
Yes.
story of Eloth the Traveller.
Yep.
But the story, are there stories of him battling an ancient evil? I mean, however appallingly
Not
rare.
really.
So what are the folk stories that we know say happened to Eloth?
They're a bit naff, to be honest. They simply say that one day he set off in his ship and didn't get seen again.
Okay. So
So
there are
you
no
imagine, from what you know now, he might have gone traveling somewhere else.
So the last time that these worms appeared, it took Eloth and a group of heroes to stop him.
Yep,
Indeed.
we're out. uh,
And I look around the room.
oh no.
And you've hired the three of us, the mighty legends that sit before you as troll hunters, and you want us to go in Eloth's place.
Not in Eloth's place. No.
That's a relief.
The hero's place.
Yeah, that's just great.
You doubt yourself too much, half-elf, dwarf. The original group were similar to you at first. It took a lot of Eloth's persuasion to change their minds.
Well, I'm gonna leave before you persuade me. No.
And we do not have Eloth, no, but the Watchers are still machines. They can still manufacture his technology.
Ooh.
Interesting.
OP Warhammer.
Yes, we will get to that in due course.
I think
First, there is one other point I should explain to you. Last time, all we did, or all they did, was destroy this rock. This time, we think it should be more final. There's no other way. Otherwise, in a few more 100 years, 1,000 years, the same thing may happen again.
Mm.
There is a solution, however.
it's there now.
Indeed, there is. Or so we believe, anyway. Nothing is set in stone, but
Let me guess. You want us to
Cast
go to another plane, to a valley of rocks, and destroy what we find there.
he chuckles to himself. That would certainly be one way of doing it, but even with Eloth's technology that we have, we still haven't figured out a way of surviving the immense pressure and lack of air to survive in that environment. there is another option which I think you may be slightly happier with than that, albeit not much.
Okay.
Eloth made many settlements in the realm of Equil. In each one, he had a key. There's a lot of these keys, you see, one in each of the sectors of the realm, which unlock a gate at Smiler's Gorge, which is a huge gorge, as it says, full of terrible evils. It's unpassable without going through this gate, and even with the keys, it is still meant to be extremely difficult to get across. Once you do so, though, because we're assuming that you do, and we have every hope in you, but that's a long way off. That doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say, the librarian cuts him off with well, shush. You're gonna freak them out. No offense. Right. Basically, Smiler's Gorge, one of the most dangerous places in Equil, which is why Eloth built his semi-permanent residence on the other side of it. There is apparently something called the Tree of Restoration, which is supposedly grown from a seed of the Tree of Life. The seeds of this tree are supposed to do great things, and we have reason to believe that closing up a wormhole once and for all is one of these many abilities. The main trick is getting there.
Throw a seed into the wormhole and hope for the best.
The other problem, of course, is finding the wormhole and the asteroid in the first place.
Wow, that's just great.
So are you planning on us destroying the worms before we go to Smiler's Gorge, or after?
That decision inevitably will remain up to you. Though I imagine you'll encounter them at some point, whether you do it on the way or the way back.
Yeah, that's reassuring.
If I may make a point, another one of them speaks up. We missed out a rather, well, not crucial detail, but important span of time in our previous explanation. These things were a real threat. They didn't just turn humans and elves and dwarves, as you've seen, but animals and creatures as well. There was an army of them,
Trolls.
a swarm. Equil was at war.
And you're waiting for that again?
Unfortunately, it is inevitable that it will happen. That is another reason why we are not sure how much time we have. But we should also point out there's another factor. I'm sorry we're jumping around so much. Each settlement of Eloth has watchers. That's how they were made. Each watcher has keepers. That's how the watching happens. These watchers, these keepers, will aid you in your task for finding the key. In some times the key is easy to be found. In other cases they've been hidden for a long time, but should still be possible to discover.
Rael stands up and she looks at Harren.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, "You fought with us today. And for that, you have my respect. I came here to do a job. The job that you're talking about now. The job that you assume that we will do. That's not the job that you hired us for. That's not the job that you brought us out here for. And I think, to be honest, what we've done today is probably a good part of what you brought us out here for. We were to be fighting bandits or some such, not monsters of the kind that we have. And she looks over at Finn and Jamril to try and get a feeling for how they're taking the conversation.
I'm kind of... It needs to be done. It's just I don't think I can do it. It's like... Seems a lot harder than, as she said, the job that we were sent out to do. Yeah.
Okay, so I glance at Finn, and I don't know what Tom will think when he checks this lot out. So I say to Haran, I don't think that you've entirely convinced my colleagues or I that this is a better bet than going back home. I need a bath. I need a rest. I need a meal. And if you want me to consider doing this, then frankly, all three of them need to be quite good and fairly fast and to arrive fairly speedily.
Haven smiles and says, while you were saying this to me, I wasn't exactly sure on what this task was to be anyway. Yeah. It is more to them that you are speaking. But I do agree that I'm not totally convinced either. And he also looks over at Sari.
Do I think that the three Sauri are male?
From the ones you've heard, at least two of them are, yes.
Okay.
The third one may be female, you're not sure.
Okay. But is there anything that would lead me to believe that?
No.
Gentlemen, you've given us a lot to think about. I don't think that a long history lesson after the fight we've had today is necessarily the best way to convince us to go on some damn full quest.
Wait, are you saying Haven brought you here straight after your tussle with that troll?
Yeah.
As somebody that's lived a long time, you don't keep track of small times very easily, do you?
No, we don't. One of our flaws, unfortunately. Oh dear, this is very bad. No wonder you are falling asleep. We are terribly sorry. We thought that you might have at least had a. Yeah, that timing really doesn't work out at all, does it? No. Do not worry. We will fix you up now. But I will say only this. I wish I could send you home. I wish I could get you back to Elkan and back to Tessun. But they're already gone. You left 3 weeks ago, and unfortunately there's more than one wormhole, and we seem to have been hit at a very unlucky time. Watchers have ways of communicating, and while it seems that last time when the asteroid they came in was destroyed, so were the worms, traveling back there now would be even more suicidal than our mission for you.
But my mother, my brothers.
Where are they?
My mountain.
Um,
Uh,
bear with me a sec.
Was it Revok?
It may well have been, yes. If that's where you know your world better than I know your world.
Yeah. I think it might have been Revok, so yeah.
Um, they were in Revok. They are in Revok.
Well then, there may be hope yet. Revok is the bastion of humanity in Elkarn. It doesn't fall easily. It never has fallen, and probably never will. They should be safe. It's more towns and villages which are to be worried about. And as for your mountain, I am more than sure that your people can handle themselves.
yeah.
The problem with these things isn't really the fact that they're not fightable. It's that they don't stop. It's that getting you to the ports would be impossible now. You remember how hard it was when you got here, and that was just within the beginning of the outbreak. The swarms of these things, swarms and swarms of them, and then when they get to the livestock, it gets worse.
Are you saying that the city has already been taken?
Are we talking about Revok?
We're talking about. I'm not sure. Is he saying that that Eloth Porton is he can't get us to the port at he can't get us to a ship at
Oh yeah, my
the
bad.
other end.
Yeah, at the other end. Basically, the port's back in Elkarn. Because basically the ports are where there's lots of people, obviously, from like sailing trips and so on, and there's lots of
Okay.
livestock which is traded. So yeah,
Okay. Are there watchers in Revok? Do I know?
there are not watchers in Revok, but there is a settlement of Eloth very close to Revok. Actually, wait, there might be watchers in Revok because Revok's like the province, not the city.
Okay.
But there are definitely some near Revok.
Okay. I think it was Henkara was
Yep.
where we were based. Okay. I'm gonna lean. I'm already stood up. I'm gonna walk to be in front of Vasfal
Mhm.
and say, "You have watchers near Henkara.
We do.
Then you get my mother and my brothers, and you get them to safety. And then I will think about your quest."
If that is what it shall take, then we will see it done.
I think my
I will
family's
now
pretty safe, so
let you get treated and rested before we discuss this any further. I'm sorry that Harren brought you here. Like you said, he is still learning. He would be accompanying you, though. It wouldn't just be you three.
yeah, that's nice.
That we can at least assure you. But yes, we will take you to a place where healing will be much faster than in the general hospital. Another one of Eloth's many gifts to us. And then we will give you some food and let you rest, and then we shall resume speaking tomorrow, if that suits you. Or whenever, really. We're always here.
That suits me. But my mother and my brothers. Without them, no deal.
He smiles at you. I understand your worry for them. It was the exact same for me when I was sitting in this watcher all those years ago, thinking of my family. I wasn't so lucky, but I'll make sure that you are, and that they are safe. You have my word, and my promise. Before you leave this tower, they shall be here in our protection.
Good. Thank you.
He motions for you to follow Harren and the librarian out a door on the opposite side, again to where the door you came in on was. We will see you tomorrow then. And just as you're about to leave, he goes, oh, and there is one other alternative. On that planet, that one which was destroyed, they had run out of alternatives. We still have opportunities, we still have chances. But the Watchers have one final feature, which Eloth had put in them when he learned about that fated place. No matter what you decide, no matter what you choose to do, and I completely accept if you choose not to accept this quest. If I was in your situation, I'd have had all the doubts that you have as well, and probably more. But the Watchers do have one more purpose. We'll let you figure out what that is.
Wait, what?
And the door closes.
To punish people
And
that don't do it. No.
that is where we shall leave the session for this evening.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, so hope everyone enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we got a grand quest.
and we will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye.